Whenever a chunk of money shows up all at once, most people feel richer than they actually are, and that's when bad decisions happen. This could be a bonus, a tax refund, an inheritance, any kind of lump sum money that hits your account at once. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the biggest mistakes that people make with one-time money and also introduce you to a simple framework you can use anytime extra money shows up so that it actually moves your life forward instead of disappearing without account. There are 5 things that people do wrong with one-time money. The first one is mentally spending the money before it even arrives. Once you get an inkling that you're going to receive a sum of money, you're thinking, ooh, what can I spend this on? What can I spend this on? You've already spent all of the money before it even hits your bank account. The problem with this is the money feels gone even before it's received. Your decisions get emotional instead of intentional. And finally, without realizing it, this removes any chance of planning for the money. I mean, think about it. If the money already feels spent, it simply never had a chance. The second mistake is treating one-time money as recurring income. One-time money is not a raise, but you find that sometimes people treat it as such. So they start doing things like upgrading their lifestyle or their monthly bills. The problem with this is you've created expenses that must now be supported by your regular paycheck, which doesn't include this lump sum money that you received. And the creation of this lifestyle that you now have to maintain on a regular paycheck very quickly leads to feeling broke or really being broke. The fastest way to undo any sort of extra money is turning it into a permanent obligation. The third mistake that people make is the emotional justification. A lot of bad decisions hide behind the sentence, I deserve this. And I'm not saying that you don't deserve it. Maybe you do. What I'm saying is pause, breathe, and strategize. There really is nothing wrong with enjoyment. I say it all the time that a financial plan that doesn't involve room for enjoyment is just not going to last. Nothing at all is wrong with it. The problem is unplanned enjoyment. When this happens, you find that your emotions very quickly replace any sort of strategy or logical thinking. And then you realize that somewhere down the line, some sort of regret usually shows up. The fourth and more technical mistake that people sometimes make is ignoring the true amount. So you know how I talk about like you're making all this plans, you're spending the money before it even arrives. Sometimes, depending on what kind of lump sum money it is, you're thinking about the gross amount. You're thinking about the gross number, not actually what hits your bank account. You're not thinking about the taxes, the withholdings, or the fees. So if you're doing this, you might be setting yourself up for disappointment because you're planning for money that doesn't exist, right? So maybe you're planning with $50,000, but realistically, what's going to hit your account is $35,000. Whoops, you're short $15,000. What is going to happen to this plan that you have? Consider one of two things. You're either incredibly disappointed, which is not good, or if you've already made these extravagant plans, you might end up using your credit cards. You might end up accruing credit card debts that you really have no business accruing. And the fifth final mistake is using all of the money without assigning a purpose. I'm not talking about when you spend it in your head. Like the money has actually come now and you just spend it without any real rhyme or reason, without assigning it a purpose. Money loves to go away. It likes to disappear, and it would disappear so fast when it isn't given a job to do. So when you get a lump sum amount of money and you don't assign it a task or a job, it's going to be gone before you know it. And when that money is gone, you realize that nothing meaningful has changed in your life. Your investments haven't increased, your savings haven't increased, your debt hasn't decreased. If anything, maybe you've dug yourself into deeper debt. Not good. Now that you know the mistakes to watch out for, I'm going to tell you that once you avoid these mistakes, handling one-time money actually becomes very simple. If you're enjoying this content so far, please hit that like button. It really does support this channel and helps me grow. Now let's think about the core reframe you need to have when it comes to one-time money. I want you to shift your mindset. I want you to tell yourself this. One-time money is not income. It is a financial lever. Repeat it after me. One-time money is not income. It is a financial lever. Here's why this distinction is important. Your paychecks, monthly, bi-weekly, this is what helps maintain your life. This is what sustains you on a day-to-day, right? But a lump sum amount of money is really meant to accelerate or stabilize your life. So it's meant to accelerate your goals, your financial goals, your investments, your savings, or bringing you out of debt. With lump sum money, the goal really shouldn't be to feel richer. It should really be to move faster or feel safer. So when you get lump sum money, I want you to apply this framework. 1, stabilize. 2, advance. 3, enjoy. I know this sounds very tactical, very military coded, but I'll explain what I mean by these. Let's discuss stability. The real job of lump sum money is to reduce stress in your life. And this could be a couple of ways. 1, building up your emergency fund aggressively. It could be by tackling high interest debts like credit card debt. It could also be by saving aggressively for known upcoming expenses. So you have a big expense coming up, you plan to buy a house, take a trip, make some sort of investment. Lump sum money allows you to aggressively save towards that. When you take all of these together, you'd find that what it's really allowing you to do is to relax, to feel like you can breathe again, to feel like you have your head above water. And there's nothing wrong with stability. Stability isn't boring. It's actually what makes progress possible. All right, step 2 of our framework, advance. Once you're stabilized, once everything is all settled, this is the time for extra money to really, really shine. This is a time for you to catch up on your investments. This could be like in your brokerage account or your retirement account. This is a time for you to catch up on contributions faster than a regular paycheck would have ever allowed you to. And this is also the time to pay down debt strategically. It might not necessarily be the highest interest debts, because hopefully you've tackled that in the stabilizing part of this framework, but this could be other lower interest debt. You could also use lump sum money to tackle these. And need to remember that lump sum money moves the needle faster than paychecks ever will. And the final part of this framework is to enjoy, because if you get lump sum money, you really should enjoy it. Like I've always said, the problem isn't enjoyment, the problem is impulse spending or enjoyment without intentionality. So with lump sum money, you should make a plan for how you want to spend it on enjoyment. But the one thing I want to point out is you should try to make sure that your plan covers like a one-time experience as opposed to recurring cost. Because like I said earlier, you don't want to introduce something new that your regular paycheck now has to support. If you like traveling, take a trip of a lifetime. It's a one-time thing. It's not a recurring cost. Spend your enjoyment money intentionally and just try to make sure that it's not a recurring expense. You would find that this intentionality with respect to spending your money is going to prevent a lot of guilt and regret in the future. And if you've gotten to this point of this video, but you find yourself thinking, okay, so should I save all of the money that I receive? No, not necessarily. You should just have intention for what you're spending versus what you're saving and do what makes the most sense for your current financial situation. On the other hand, if you're asking yourself, is it okay to spend most of it? Actually, yes, it can be if you're intentional, if you're already in a very, very good financial position and you feel like there's no need for you to stabilize or advance much, like I've spoken about using this framework, then hey, go for it. Enjoy your money. Again, I just want you to have the intentionality behind your spending so that you're not filled with guilt or regret months down the line. And here's a reflection prompt for you. Before your next lump sum arrives, I want you to ask yourself the question, what job do I want this money to do for me? Then let me know in the comments, what do you struggle with the most when you get lump sum money? Is it saving it? Is it spending it? Or is it deciding what to do with it at all? Let me know in the comments. I'll be reading it. If you like thoughtful conversations about money, personal growth, and figuring things out without all the pressure, you probably feel right at home here. So be sure to subscribe if you're not subscribed already, and I will see you in the next video.